For the time being, this is as close as we can get to the search operation that is being conducted by the German and Portuguese police. Several abandoned houses that are being searched this morning by the authorities. They are using pickaxes and shovels to dig away at the soil around these houses. And yesterday when we were up there, we managed to get a little closer and we saw that soil was being taken away in grey boxes to a blue tent that had been set up close by.
That was Nick Pisa reporting for the Daily Mail. From Sky News, day 2 in the search in Portugal's Algarve region for clues to where Madeleine McCann is, and there are pockets of police activity dotted around the vast scrubland. That's obviously the Roja Negra area. From where I'm standing, the reporter writes, I can see 3 searches underway, all in abandoned buildings. Wow, not terribly imaginative. They're there just to search in these abandoned buildings. And do you think anything was discovered on day 2?
I got nightmares in my head, I fear thoughts build up until I can't feel. My mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear.
Hello and welcome to True Crime Rocket Science, the most authentic voice in true crime. Well, according to Reuters, police were combing a vast area in Portugal, and this is some footage from Reuters. Again, according to Sky News, to the left, a team of 3 lift stones to the window of an old stone hut. It's thought that ground radar equipment may then be used to scan the floors. As we walk through the brush, the ground is dry and hard. Nothing has been found. That is official. Digging here is hot, exhausting work, according to Sky News, but so far there is no news. Police are trying to keep the press back, but the area is very large. One officer is asked for an update and he says nothing has been found. Then he heads off to the tents that are the base for the 30 or so German police running this operation. Many people question, according to Sky News, just what could possibly be found here 18 years after the 3-year-old British girl went missing from her family's nearby holiday apartment in Praia da Luz. Sky spoke to a professor of criminology at the University of Porto, Fernando Teixeira, and he told Sky News that the search would have been meticulously planned. He said they use identification work if any bone fragments appears, and this is done in the laboratory unit. So that's the first port of call, is trying to find in all of this dirt bone fragments. Teixeira adds, in the field, through equipment supported by engineering, it's possible to detect whether there are in fact bone fragments that will have been deposited in the geographic areas. Now, has anyone noticed any dogs in the search footage, or any dogs part of this? And as far as I can see, there aren't, which tells me that the German police also seem to have this belief that dogs aren't reliable. I wouldn't be surprised if that is what they think. I wouldn't be surprised if there are bone fragments found in some of these areas from these abandoned buildings, but bone fragments from beef or poultry, perhaps even fish, because surely vagrants have squatted in the area over time and made little barbecues and made little fires out in the open using the shelter that they have available. Human bone remains, on the other hand, would be very surprising. Now, according to Sky News, what do locals think about the search? Well, they're not terribly happy, and I was in Luz a couple of days ago. I was also there in 2019, and you can tell the Madeleine McCann case is something they don't want to talk about. They don't even want to remember. According to Sky News, the feeling towards press in the village is not warm. It took years for the resort to recover, and even now, mention Praia da Luz and you do think of Madeleine. Taryn Brown, according to Sky News, runs a beauty spa just 30 meters from apartment 5A. She tells Sky News this fresh search has actually upset locals. According to Brown, it keeps dragging down Praia da Luz. All I've ever heard about it is how badly everyone was affected. It took a long time to recover, so this keeps dragging it up all over again. Now, I must say, when I was in Luz, it was actually pleasant. There were a lot of people. There were many tourists, beyond British tourists, and it actually seemed as though Praia da Luz had finally moved on. And so all of this news, all of this is a setback to the economy, where people want to choose to go on holiday, or they don't want it to be associated with something like this. Meanwhile, just up the coast in Albufeira, actually the only beach north of Luz I visited as well, a body has been found today, belonging to a British tourist who went missing. According to the Times, Greg Monk's, his body was found in a search for the Scot that's been missing in Portugal. He's a 38-year-old mechanic. He was last seen on Wednesday last week, and he was more than an hour's walk away from his apartment in Albufeira, where he was attending a stag do. He was then seen in Serra de Agua, a residential area, about 90 minutes later, and was last seen on CCTV at very early in the morning, 3:27 a.m. on Wednesday, walking along Rua da Gralhaira near a villa known as Villa Agua Mar. His family and friends had been searching a cliff area near to the villa and using drones. Now think about that. His family and friends are searching a cliff area for someone who went missing in the middle of the night while under the influence. What is the likely outcome here? The Polizia Judiciaria police force said in a statement that the body of the missing tourist had been found. Obviously, this story has more in common with Jay Slater going out in a foreign country, drinking, getting lost at night, and then dying in an inevitable accident while under the influence. It does reinforce the notion that death in a foreign country doesn't necessarily involve foul play. In fact, it usually doesn't. And this person's death isn't regarded, certainly at this point, as foul play. But that is pending an autopsy. According to the Times, a Portuguese police source said investigators believe Monks got lost and fell to his death as he tried to get back to his hotel. He added, "Our belief is he lost all notion of where he was after drinking heavily and finding himself in an unfamiliar place, and that he jumped over a wall and fell to his death. The body was already in a state of decomposition when it was found." Now, because he lay undiscovered for a week in high temperatures, his body had begun to decompose. So it's likely the smell of the body is what gave away its location in the case of this 38-year-old UK citizen. It only took a week to actually find him. He wasn't hidden away, but he was in a way not easily seen. Nevertheless, he was located. Now, one wonders, has that occurred to the German authorities? Instead of trying to investigate this, trying to pin it on Bruckner, why not just try and find Madeleine? And so what about considering the possibility that she may have wandered off, also got lost at night and then fallen somewhere? Also, when a body is found relatively quickly, it reinforces the notion of accidental death. When it is never found, well, then it appears to have been hidden, which is the case in Madeleine's case. Meanwhile, the silence from the McCanns involving this particular search is interesting. No comment and no single family member even present either. In the Sky News reporting, they sort of conclude with the following paragraph. The McCanns aren't commenting on this latest operation. They, of course, have been here before, they add sympathetically, and are used to the heartbreak of nothing being found. If Madeleine's remains were found, how do you think the McCanns would really feel about it? And what would be the result of her remains being found? Would they ultimately link her to Bruckner or someone else? I'm not going to take it further than that, but I would like to know in the comments, if you could direct the search for Madeleine, where would you direct it? Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.